My name is Ranjini Raghunath. I'm from India. I moved here in July 2011, so it's almost 2 years now. And I'll probably be here for another 6 months to less than a year, probably. So I'm a spouse, and my husband is a postdoctoral scholar at the School of Medicine in Neuroscience. The last academic year I was working with Bechtel, helping coordinate and organize programs for international students and scholars. And I've also been doing some volunteering, a little bit of dabbling in writing for the local newspaper. Been keeping myself as busy as possible. I heard of the CCIS the first Friday morning coffee I was here. I was here for the welcome Friday morning coffee in 2011, and I met a few volunteers like Gwyn, Leilani, and I spoke to them, and that's how I came to know about CCIS. And then I frequented the Friday morning coffee a lot, and I volunteered for a few events with Suzanne Mass, who was the spouse program coordinator then, and I really enjoyed working with all the volunteers. And I spoke to a few more volunteers, came to know of other programs like the professional liaison and then the English in Action. I even volunteered for the English in Action for I think last year. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. So I volunteered with English in Action for about a year, and then some of the programs like the Women's Day Potluck and a few spouse programs, and also I guess on and off I've just helped with some of the swap and just volunteering a little bit. But yeah, and I also applied for the Spouse Education Fund last year, and so that's how I've known of what CCIS does. So. My background is in engineering, so I was very interested in a couple of courses actually, but I was very hesitant to take that step because being a spouse, independent, I always have to think twice about like paying money for a class and taking it up, and so but the Spouse Education Fund was a really nice opportunity for me to go for a class that I really liked. It was called the Maths Behind Technological Innovation, and we were taught about how all these great ideas were developed, like Google, how did they come up with a search engine algorithm, and how does Netflix track your ratings and preferences. So it was kind of very interesting about how the math plays into all these inventions and designs. So it was very interesting, and I was really looking forward to taking it, and I was so glad that I could use the Spouse Education Fund for that. So I was looking for a couple of opportunities to volunteer, and I came to know about the English in Action program, and I thought that since I already learned English back home from when I was in kindergarten, so we learn English as our first language, so I thought it might be a nice chance to help someone through the English in Action program, and I signed up for it, and I was assigned with a spouse from Taiwan who was here with her husband, who was a postdoctoral scholar. So we tried to meet once a week. In the beginning we met pretty frequently, maybe like every week. And then she started working in Mountain View, so I think our talks became a little bit scattered, but still we tried to meet up as much as possible. And I remember we used to meet for bubble tea and Mountain View and Castro Street, and then chat about, and she asked me for help with her job, and so some phrases that she wanted help with. So for example, when I'm speaking to a client and they're asking me this question, how do I say, what is the most polite way to reply to them? And so I used to help her with those kind of questions on how to interact with in a informal English and things like that. So it was fun. I also learned a lot about her culture, and she used to tell me a lot of interesting stories from back home as well. So I think I also learned a lot that way, and I was kind of happy to help out. So I think I was volunteering for about a year till last year, I think. So I think it was a really nice way I would say it was more like a mutual learning process. I would say from day one that I've been here at Bechtel, I think CCIS has been a really wonderful resource, but more than a resource, I mean, all the volunteers I've met and all the people I've spoken to, they've always been very friendly and very extending a lot of support and warmth, and they've made me feel very welcome here. So I'm really glad and really proud of the work they're doing, and I hope they continue for like another 50 years or so. So yeah, that would be my message.